Good evening and welcome. I'm Sheila Balgobin and I am the Dream Decipherer, and I help you to crack the code of your sleep and dreams so you can sleep sound and dream deep. This evening, I have a very short dream to share. A very short dream that ends in a question and asks a lot of questions. So we'll get into it. The dreamer reports in this dream that in the dream, the dreamer and his wife were presented with a statue of a Buddha and were asked to share the Buddha in some way among five people. So the question that the dreamer ends the dream with is the only way to do this was it to share its monetary value. So what does this all mean? Well, the first question I would ask here is, what does Buddha or a Buddha represent to the dreamer? um there Buddha is the figurehead for Buddhism, which is a religious practice and a way of life, which stresses the middle way. So nothing in excess, everything is in balance. But what does the Buddha evoke for the dreamer himself? The next thing is that the dreamer and his wife were asked to share this Buddha among five people. Now, um, my first question was, well, is that does the are the dreamer and his wife included in these five people or are not? And the numbers five and seven can have some significance here. Now, in if it's seven people that these Buddha had to be divided among, that is certainly in Christian circles, seven is a sacred number. 7 days of the week, 6 days we work, and the seventh we rest. There's also, in terms of five, if it was only the five people that this Buddha needed to be divided among, there's implications of the five elements of traditional Chinese medicine, the five elements being water, wood, fire, earth, and metal. But more pertinent, I think, to this dream is that it may be a reference here to the five Buddha values. And the five Buddhist values are to refrain from taking life, refrain from stealing, refrain from gossip, refrain from over sensuality or indulgence, and refrain from intoxicating beverages. So perhaps that these five people were, or these five people represent, in some sense, these five principles or Buddhist values. Now, the dilemma for the dreamer here was, how do we divide this Buddha statue into five portions in some way, to these five people? And the question was asked by the dreamer, should it be according to monetary value? Well, my first question here is, what value, monetary value, if any, does this Buddha actually have? And if the value of it is known, what is that value? My other question to the dreamer here is, what was there some other way that the dreamer could have thought of to divide the value of this statue? I just wonder here, going back to the five Buddhist precepts, is maybe just to distribute one to each one. But the question of how to distribute the value of this statue to these five people is still unanswered. It's only for the dreamer to kind of look at that. There's also a question here of the juxtaposition of perhaps of spirituality or religion in this case, and money, that or is there an equivalent value between spirituality and money? Are they in opposition to one another? What does the dreamer think about that? Is there some kind of split that you can either have money or have spirituality, or perhaps an amalgamation of the two? So that's a question for the dreamer to perhaps to look at. But if we look at what the theme perhaps that's running through this dream, excuse me, there seem to be issues of value being looked at here. Financial value or monetary value versus spiritual values. What is this statue actually worth, whether in monetary terms or other terms? It's interesting that the wife is present in this dream, but is silent, does not actually verbalize or interact in any visible way. But and I wonder at this point if this is the anima or inner female of the dreamer that is pointing to connection in some way or other. And perhaps looking at the connections between inner and outer values, in terms of spirituality versus outer values, and monetary value or secular values, if you will. And there's also the relationship that exists between spirituality, or in this case, formal religion, and money. So there's a number of questions that have been brought up by the question that the dreamer actually asked in the dream. And it's now up to the dreamer to take that information away and see where exactly in their lives these issues may be appearing, and causing some kind of concern that to make them come up in the dream. So there you have it. And how do you divide up a Buddha? That sounds like a a riddle to be answered, but it's one that only the dreamer can answer with any certainties. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Have a great evening and rest of the week, and I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye bye.